G'day guys, welcome back to another vid. I'm down here at King Tide Fibreglass in Capella. I told you all when I was doing that esky video that we're building a new esky, and that's what I got the idea for the esky trials for. Anyway, it started today. I'm super excited. I know nothing about fiberglass, and Sean and the boys here are going to teach me a lot about it. You're going to see a heap of handy tips to build your own fiberglass esky, but this thing is going to be next level. So if you want some tips on fiberglassing, learning how to build your own esky, this is one. Don't skip through it. You're going to learn a lot. It's going to be epic. Wait till you see this thing. It's going to be custom for our boat. It's going to be awesome. So let's go in, say good day to the boys. Welcome to King Tide Fibreglass in Marine in Capella, southeast Queensland. King Tide offer high quality fiberglass work to your boat, caravan, jet ski, and even cars. With over 10 years experience in the industry, King Tide specialise in hull extensions and pods, full rebuilds including stringers, floors, cabins and transoms. There's also no job too small for the boys. Right down to keel repairs and custom fiberglass solutions like eskies, hard tops, bolt-on pods and even internal fit-outs like cup holders, windows and electronics. You name it and King Tide will find a solution. So here's some before and afters of some of the epic work the lads here at King Tide have completed. And in this video, you're going to see just how much work goes into fiberglassing and making your boat look this good. Honestly, it's one of the most interesting videos I've made to date. By the time I walked in, the big fella here, Sean, had already marked out all the esky onto the 50mm insulated foam. From what Sean's told me, we're using this form ply to create the gel coat, yeah?
Yeah, so it's a nice flat finish, so it's a bit easier when we go to actually finish the box. We're not trying to fair the whole esky in, we're just fairing corners and edges a little bit.
Yep, so it's going to look like this, as opposed to like the sort of lumpier finish that you get. So it's going to be sexy, eh?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Sexy esky. Alright, I've got the gel coat going on to the form ply. Sean's just mixed up a bit of catalyst, 2% he reckons is the magic mark. Alright, so this is what gives it the super shiny look on the outside, and then what does this go off, and then you stick the fiberglass sheets to that.
Yeah, it'll stay sticky because we haven't waxed it, so it will stay sticky. It'll just give us a base layer, so when we actually go to spray it, it's not trying to spray over the colour of fiberglass. You're just trying to cover a bit of the white surface.
Yep.
But yeah, this will stay sticky, and then we just glass over it, and then it will cure once the glass goes over the top of it, so it won't always be sticky.
So you just got to get your timing right, yeah?
Yeah, you have a couple of hours between it, like going kind of setting and then being able to actually glass over it. So
yeah,
you can do it the next day. Really, it just stays at that point where it just stays sticky.
Yep, I'm looking forward to seeing all this, how it unfolds, because I've never seen it before. Well, here we go. It's time to get stuck in. So this here is resin. Mix it with 1% of catalyst, and that seems to be the magic number. Some 450 chop strand matting, and that gel coat had started to go off. Mixing up the resin, we pour it over the top of the gel coat. We roll out some 450 chop strand matting in 2 layers, pouring the resin over each layer, and then rolling it in really well with the rollers to get all the air bubbles out. We then lay the 50mm insulated foam on top of the matting and weigh it down heavily with some tins and some more form ply, and this will help at the end to keep it all really nice and flat. You can see here what we're left over with an hour later once it started to dry. We then lay some more 450 chop strand matting over the top of those 2 bits of foam, some resin mixed at 1% with catalyst on top of that matting, and then we roll it in here really well, and this is what gets all the air bubbles out between the matting and the resin. Alright, so we've glassed up all the panels now except for the lid. So we've got the 2 sides, we've got the bottom here, another side, we've just got to do the lid, but the lid's going to be in 2 bits. So I've done the bottom and tops of these, give them an hour to dry. What are we doing after that, Captain?
Join it all together.
It's going to look like an esky by the Savi. So as you're saying, stick them down, and it's crazy to think how strong the glass is. Just one little layer from the corner like that on the inside and outside, and that's its whole strength, yeah? So yeah, anyway, what are you doing, mate? Jack shit. So this is what it looks like after we snap the gel coat and foam off the form ply that we poured it on this morning. You can see there exactly why we did it. Trimming up all around the edges of the insulated foam here, it was time to start cutting it out and put it all together. So that's Sean sacrificing himself for the greater good of keeping fish cold, isn't it? That's it. This fella didn't want to do it. Time to start shaping it up, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Look at this. All right, so we've got 900 from that side to this side.
Yep.
We got, I think it's about 1.80 metre. I can't remember. And we got 700 external. 1.30 metre external. So we got 700 wide by 1.30 metre by 700 external. So the internal measurements are about 440 litres. We're gonna have a bait section around here. So part of this will be glassed off so we can put all our bait in there and it'll stay cold, and all the fish are around here. There'll be a little bung area there that I can drain all the bait stuff out the end, and a bung out the back. Righto, while Sean's getting ready to glass that up, he's getting some resin and everything together. I want to show you this. This is what they have to do. So cut transoms out, cut out all the stringers, redo all the stringers, redo all the flooring, redo all the transom, make it totally strong enough to hold big motors and years of pounding. It's crazy what they have to do. I'm learning now just how much work goes into fiberglassing and doing a boat. So what they do is like a lot of old boat repairs. They can customize cabins, transoms, eskies, anything fiberglass. These boys do. They're doing such a good job. Have a look at this. Like, that one's not even that bad, but you know, the wood rot in them. So it's all been cut out and it's all getting redone. It's a lot of work in fiberglass in a boat, that's for sure. So Sean and I were just talking about what to do with the inside bait tank, bait holding tank I'm talking about. So it's gonna maybe either come out like this and back this way in the shape of a rectangle. We want to be able to fit a full pilly box, some California squid boxes and stuff like that, and some mullet inside. But then this fella's a bit of a sucker for punishment, talking about maybe making a drawer that slides back and pulls forward, so you can slide it back, slide the fish in, but it's a lot more work. Is that right?
A lot more work.
So anyway, I was like, I'm happy to go for the easy option, so whatevs, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, so like I was saying before, from this black mark forward is a seat, and it's going to be a nice little cushion there, so you sit at least 3 people along there. Then she's going to jump up here, and this is going to be a box area with some stubby holders. It's going to have a lid for everyone's storage to go in, and then that's going to be detachable, so when we're not going on a big trip, you can turn it sideways, another cushion goes on there, and you can sit heaps of people on there, and it'll be awesome. So we're down to the nitty gritty of it now. This stuff we've never seen before. Sean reckons it's good. It holds 320 tons per square metre. So, and that's basically, you were saying, sets really hard, doesn't let any air and all that through gaps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's glass on the outside and inside, so this thing should work really well. Starting to look like an esky now. Right, the glass on the inside now. This is not alfoil. What is it?
It's DB, so double bias. So it just adds strength to whatever you kind of put it into it. So especially throwing fish in, ice, all that, you want a bit of strength on the bottom of it. So we're just going to add some DB, especially for corners as well, just to hold everything together. But yeah, this is where we get just a bit better than chop strand mat. So go from there.
Looks strong as, like, thickness of it is, look at it. So with an old esky I had similar to this, one day I had a big wahoo and I slid it into it, and it slid in, just went bang, punched a hole straight down through the bottom corner. So I won't do it with this stuff. So I think you were saying you were going to run it up the sides just a little bit,
Yeah,
for that
and
bottom
then-
protection when
yeah.
fish and that are sliding in. So it's going to be strong as. So here we put 2 layers of 450 chop strand matting in the bottom of the esky first, then followed by 1 layer of the DB double bias matting, creating a very, very strong bottom of the esky built for dropping big fish in. All right, so this is where we're up to. It's knock-off time here. We've worked all day. It's about 4:30, I think. It's looking a lot like an esky now. So we've pretty much glassed the whole inside. Shauno, do we have to glass anything else on the inside?
No.
That's it.
Just the lid when it goes on.
Yeah, so all the lid is obviously 50mm foam as well, the same as this. So we've glassed all the bottom, multiple coats, multiple bits of matting. We're flow coating the inside, so it'll be grey with black fleck. Sean's come up with a bloody awesome idea for the bait holding area, but I don't know if he'll tell you yet. You can just wait and watch till the end of the video and see, but wait till you see this. I haven't seen an esky with one in it before. It's going to hold a lot of bait. We're going to be able to move it out of the way. It's going to be awesome. All that in one day, and I thought we were smashing through it. Little did I know just how much work there was to follow. The next day I come in mid-morning and the boys had already got stuck in and completed a fair bit. They'd put the rails on for the bait storage area and trimmed back the fiberglass from the edges, allowing us to be able to create a curve. They'd also glassed up the top of the lid and trimming it off here with this renovator tool. This thing is super handy for this sort of work. Fitting the lid on and trimming up the top was next install. The lid was created using the same method as I just explained before, with the 50mm foam and the fiberglass matting. Okay, here he goes.
Oh, cherry fun.
Itchy boy. This is super itchy work, and anyone that's ever worked with fiberglass will know exactly how frustrating it can be. It takes a real man to do it. And a real man he is. Look at that mullet fly. Rightio, yesterday we got the bait board all made up, and then we just put one layer of 450 chop strand in, so that's drying now. Coops is leveling up the lid here, so just chop the edges off, getting all nice and square so you get a good seal. Here's the lid over here. She fit in there nicely, eh?
Be good.
Nice and snug. So they said the flow coat, which is sprayed on at the end, which makes it look all nice and pretty, it's going to be grey with a black fleck through it. That adds about 1mm on. So by the time they shave what they need to shave off and a seal goes around top, it'll seal so nicely. The less air, the less gaps and everything, the better, because it'll hold ice for a lot longer. Is that right?
That's it.
That's it, mate. All right. So today we're working on getting all this square, so we get that good seal. The rails that the bait box is going to slide along, we've glassed the bottom of them yesterday, and we're going to glass the tops.
Yep.
And then what are we aiming to get to?
So we'll run some tissue along them. We'll get the lid cut. After we get the lid cut, we'll glass both sides of the foam. After we glass both sides of the foam, I reckon we'll look at getting the outsides of the esky all glassed up, and then see where we get to from there, I reckon. Yeah, ripper. So what they were doing is, you remember when at the very start of the video we gel coat sprayed the form ply, which allowed this nice little flat surface, easy to work on later. We're cutting this back with the renovator tool, snapping it off, and then it allows the boys to be able to sand the corners of the esky to a perfect semicircle shape on the edges. The glass sticks a lot better than, easy to work with. Yeah, we can't roll glass over nice right angles. So once we cut that back, we'll get it all to a nice round, and then we'll look at glassing it all up and making sure the outsides are nice and tidy. Yeah, ripper. That's what'll give us almost like a nice curved edge, like what's on the edge of this boat here. So happy days. So here was a cool little custom project I walked into Sean doing the next morning, marking out an underfloor insulated esky for this boat. This is another little example of the work that they can do. This here is called a board sander. It's designed to make all your edges really nice and flat. And here is some tissue glass. So I'd never heard of this stuff before, but it's great to work with in tight corners. But you need to put multiple layers on. All right, we've finished glassing up this bait box. Well, most of it anyway. So once that dries, inside's done, flip them over. How do we do the top? Probably with the tissue stuff, yeah, rightio. So that bottom edge there will be done with the tissue glass. Yep. Same stuff as what we used for the top of these rails. These are, I don't know, still tacky. So now we're cutting this lid in half, because the lid is going to split in half where the black lines are. This half's going to be a seat. This is going to be a raised area, and you just have to wait to see that. It's going to be sick. So that'll
hinge through the middle, lift up here. So that's sort of chopping that in half. This is also called a board sander, but it's a lot more hard work. But when you need to be intricate and create the exact shape that you want, this is the tool for the job. So we've cut the lid in half now. That half over there, that's going to get like hard glassed and stay on top of the esky at all times. This is a bit that's going to fold up, and that's going to be the seat, which is that part there. So Coops has just got this all nice and rounded, so the glass will work over the edges nicely. And what's next, I have no idea.
Me neither.
So Shauno, the big fella's left us to do the last bits, what he wanted to do on this. He's gone to a wedding this afternoon. So yeah, what are we going to do, mate?
We're going to trim that up. I'm going to take that 50mm off like we spoke about earlier.
Yep.
So I'm going to take that 50mm off this glass section, off both sides, and then that way we'll be exposing this 50mm foam. We'll round that 50mm foam up real nice, and that way we'll be able to glass from those 50mm all the way around that foam edge.
Yep.
And then later on we can lay a piece over the whole lot.
Sweet. We were saying before, between the two of us, we know what we're doing. Is that what we said? No, hang on, we said 80%, 20%. I reckon it's more like 95 to 5. Again, this little renovator tool is awesome for this intricate work, not cutting too deep into the foam and being able to snap back those areas on the edge. All right, Coops has cut the glass back each side, another 50mm further past the join here, and then he sanded like a nice round edge on the side here. Counting, were you?
Yeah.
Counting 26. How many times? So 26 times each corner to get them the same. Then he's going to do some hand sanding to get it perfect. Then the fiberglass is going to marry into both of these edges. You can see here, that glass is sticking just out past the edge. And that's what's going to finish it off primo. Me and Coops have now put three or four? Three layers of 250?
450.
Hang on. Rightio, so me and Coops have now put 3 layers of 450 CSM.
Chop strand mat.
Hey, chop strand matting, I'm learning. On each corner. So she's starting to look like an esky now. So each corner has been glassed right up to the gel coat fiberglass there. Tomorrow, when Sean gets in, he'll be cutting underneath it, flipping this box, cutting underneath it, doing a heap of grinding, and then glassing all these corners, getting everything all cut flush, and it should look really nice and tidy, by tomorrow, Avi?
Yep, it'll look good.
And then it's a bunch of sanding, and then spraying with gel coat. Is that right?
That's it.
And yeah, and then basically they sand that gel coat back, buff it, and it comes up basically like this. So yeah, there's still a fair bit of work there, but by tomorrow afternoon, it's going to look really good. So that's it for today. We're knocking off, eh? The next day I got in and the boys were already into it. The bait storage area was almost fully complete and ready for flow coat. Just needed to knock off all the little dags and she was ready to roll. They also put another couple of layers on the outside of the esky corners and glassed the inside of the lid on. So this is flow coat. This is a 2% mix with catalyst. Very easy to do and just looks awesome. Now this is flecking. Later on, you're going to see the boys are very competitive on who is the best flecker. How good's that? But I was pretty excited to see just how good the inside of the esky was going to look when it was done. Have a look at that. I was starting to get super excited. All right, back in here a few days later at King Tide Fibreglass and Marine. So this is where we're up to. The boys have been spending a couple of hours every few days on it. They've got a heap of work, as you can see behind me. They've got to get through at the same time. So this is a bit of spare time jobby. Here is the big fella. So basically more of what you were seeing earlier, just getting the fiberglass sheets, laying them over, rolling in the resin over the top. We've now filled in all these gaps around the corners. So each corner now has about 4 layers matting, chop strand matting on it. And now it's all pretty much flat. Coops was just saying then, the next stage we've got to do is he's going to attack this with a sander and I'm going to stand as far away from him as I can because that's the most itchy part of your job, yeah?
That's it.
I've been itchy some nights, so don't worry about that, but the boys get way worse than I do. Anyway, so then he's going to grind this all back as flat as he can Then he's going to put some filling material like a Q-cell and a flow coat. So you mix a Q-cell and flow coat together and roll it on. That's going to fill any of the gaps. Then we're going to let that go off, and then we're going to hit it with a board sander and get it like really, really perfectly flat all the way around. And then it's pretty much ready for gel coating, which is going to make it look like this behind me. So really nice and flat. It actually ends up like orange peel material, and then they sand it back and they buff it, and it just comes up perfect. So we're getting there. I'm learning how much of a process it is to build a Fibreglass Esky, but this thing's gonna hold ice like nothing else, you know, and the boys can customize it however you like it. So you'll see at the end, I was like, can we do this, this and this? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. So, but you'll see. But anyway, that's where we're at. So obviously that's the bottom of the Esky. I'm just waiting for this to go off a little bit more, and the big fella's going to get itchy.
That's it.
There's a bit in it, isn't there? If he didn't do this, he would be uncontrollably itchy tonight, so I can hardly blame him. Anyway. Right, Coops, what's going on here, mate?
Just putting a bit of filler on just so we can try and build up the surface, make sure there's no pinholes and get ready to spray. Get it all nice and fair and be laughing.
So this is a Q-cell and flow coat mix, and like you were saying, this will just show us basically where all the imperfections are, yeah?
Pretty much after we put the black ink on, it'll show us all our low spots, our high spots and whatnot.
And this stuff's a lot easier to sand than the glass. We hit that with a board sander, yeah?
Yep, we'll hit it with a board sander. We'll probably knock it down with an Orbi first and do all the finishing work with the board sander.
Ooh, this is exciting. Yeah, so all these little pinholes, yeah?
Yep, so that's what we're aiming to fill.
All right, next step is, Coops has Q-celled and flow coated all the top here and around the top sides. This is this U-Butte black ink that he keeps telling me about and stuff. What is it, Coops?
It's just an acrylic-based paint mixed with a bit of acetone, and it just pretty much allows us to see all our high spots and our low spots. And
yeah. So when we're sanding, obviously, you want to get all this ink off. Is that correct? And that's going to allow it to make sure it's like dead flat, because after this is gel coat, and that's our final layer. And then polishing that, like that's your finished product. So this ink allows you to be able to see exactly where isn't sanded properly. Like these little bits here. So when you're sanding down around there, you know, once it's all gone, you're dead flat. Anyway, the master will show you. Are you the master?
Nah, Shawnee is.
Shawnee's out there having a chin wag. Well, the rest of the day was spent sanding. Sanding, sanding, and more sanding. Using the ink to get this Esky as flat as we could before Cooper puts the first coat of gel coat on. Rightio, so you can see after Orbi in that bit, these little black parts where the ink's still sitting is obviously your low areas. Where your glass is are your high areas. So it just makes it heaps easier to get it dead flat. You know, you've got to knock more off down to there. You don't want to take off any more there. And that'll happen over the whole Esky pretty much. Correct?
That's it.
He just tells me what to say and I say it, so. Sanding's actually a good little practice for mindfulness. You find your mind just drifting off while you sit there for hours on end, sanding. Rightio, here we are, the fun part. We're out in the painting bay now, mixing up some gel coat. What's the ratio to that, mate?
2%.
2%.
Yeah.
Out the painting bay, it's the last time that she's going to look like this, all this colour. Because we've got the first coat of gel coat going on, so 2%, Coops just said, you mix it up. A bit of catalyst in the gel coat.
It's got wax in it as well.
It's got wax in it as well, I'm just relaying what he's saying. I'm excited for this. When she fully starts looking like an Esky. So I got it upside down there. Still got to do, so that's the top of the Esky. But I'm not going to be in here for this because this stuff is potent and super sticky. Like. So Sean was telling me that this one is spraying it out of a 2mm nozzle. So what that'll do is it'll fill a lot more of the imperfections. We'll sand that back with some 120 and then the top coat goes on, and then that gives enough gel coat to be able to sand and buff back, and that's what brings it up perfect. So you can see these little pinholes here. This coat is designed to show us where they all are, isn't it? And fill them.
I'll go back along with a little touch-up brush after this and
yep.
fill them all in.
So he touches them all up after this with a little touch-up brush, and then happy days. I'll let you do your thing, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Seeing the gel coat get sprayed on was one of the parts that I was waiting for the most. It's super rewarding and just shows you exactly what it's going to look like at the end. What I'm getting out of here, I can feel it sticking to me already. Like I said there, it is super sticky. Anyway, here's a lot of the pinholes and imperfections that you can see, and the gel coat brings them right out. So Cooper goes around the Esky with a touch-up brush and fills as many as he can. Sorry to leave you hanging, guys, but this one is going to be continued in 2 weeks. Wait till you see how this turns out. The ultimate Reef Esky. It could even just change the way you deck out your boat. Thanks for watching, legends. I want to say a massive thank you to our legendary Patreons. You guys are bloody awesome. If you'd like to become a Patreon, head over to patreon.com/outerline adventures. And we'd like to say a massive thank you to our sponsors. Your support and friendship means the absolute world to us. Cheers, guys.